Hello, my name's Sarah. I have not filmed for a while. I have been ill, just general nursery germs just attacking me and not wanting to let go. Then it was Easter holidays, and then was chicken pox, and I was riding solo because my husband was at work. But anyway, and I have not been reading. I've been trying to read, but I've not been reading. So far this year, I've read 10 books. And any reading is good. Listen, but that's not the lifestyle for me. That number 10. I'd like it to be higher. Um, yeah. So I did. My last video was like a reading, like everything I've read so far in 2026, and since then I've read three. Oh, have I read 11 books now? Then I finished one yesterday. But I'm going to just quickly mention my favourite book of the year. This is just a chatty random video, by the way. I had no intention to film, but I'm sat in my library tidying, so I just thought I'd chat. Anyway, so my latest obsession that has lasted for a month is The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. I finished this the day before the first half of the BBC adaptation came out, and I love it. It's my new favourite thing. The series, whilst different, obviously it is a big chunky book. They had to slim it down, even though it's still 10 episodes. Though I would have liked 10 1-hour episodes instead of 10 30-minute episodes. I could have 100 episodes an hour long and I would still be happy. I wouldn't get sick of it. I just loved it. There was like an initial bit at the start when it comes to the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, where I was like, oh, they are quite harsh. They're very, very harsh. But then that mindset of like Pride and Prejudice is from Lizzie's perspective. And whilst Lizzie isn't Mrs. Bennet's favourite, she's like a high up there because she is pretty and witty. But she's also Mr. Bennet's favourite daughter. Whereas Mary is no one's favourite. And I loved it. The love and the reverence that Janice Hadlow has for Jane Austen and all of Jane Austen's work, not just Pride and Prejudice, is clear. You know, there's little homages to like Emma and naming stuff from like Sense and Sensibility. I feel like Mr. Hayward has a touch of the Henry Tilney about him. And I loved it. And what I really liked about this is that there was no baddie. Well, the baddies in it were really her parents for not looking after her, looking out for her. But I do think there's a good bit in this series with Mrs. Bennet and Mary having a chat, which I thought was good. And also the way Mr. Collins gets a really interesting look at what he's really like and why he's like that, I thought was brilliant. I know some people have criticised the way Charlotte Lucas is portrayed, but I was fine with that personally. I just loved it. This is my favourite book of the year so far. Out of all 11 books I've read. But I think it's going to be very hard to beat because it was fantastic and it literally has bewitched me body and soul. And I love. That was a bit too like Prime Ministry rather than Matthew McFadden Darcy. Though my favourite Darcy is Colin Firth. Oh, but one thing that the series does really excellently is why have one wet shirt scene when you could have a scene where there's two men in wet white shirts? It was perfect. Oh, they're all so good. Anyway, so I read that. I loved it. Cherries on my... Oh my god, kid. I've lost one cherry already. But what can you do? Yeah, so I read that. What else did I read? Oh, I read Just Kids by Patti Smith, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't know anything about Patti Smith before that. And so I sort of treated it like it was a fiction book, whereas I did not Google her. I listened to her entirely while I was reading it, which was a lovely experience, so I do recommend that. But I didn't know anything about Robert Mapplethorpe, and I just wanted to go into it blindly and yeah, you can see that she's a poet and she's a songwriter because it was so beautifully written. And the relationship she had with Robert was just so wonderful, and I cried at the end of the book. And yeah, I loved the setting of it, her sort of maturing, growing up in New York in the 60s and 70s at the famous Chelsea Hotel. I just had a lovely time, and I was really keen to read more by Patti Smith. So if you know where to go next, let me know. And then last night I finished Box Hill by Adam Mars Jones. Is that his name? Or Adam Jones Mars? The one that Pillion, the new sexy biker film with Alexander Skarsgård, and I've forgotten his name. I can't be bothered to edit this film. He plays Dudley in the Harry Potter films. I don't like Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling, but him. And I can't remember his name. Like I said, I did not plan to film this. And yeah, it was really short. It was like 115 pages. I really enjoyed it. Set in the 70s. About a sort of BDSM relationship between Colin and Ray. Colin literally stumbles over Ray one day at a bike meet, and they end up having this relationship. And it's all in from Colin's perspective, and you see him as the relationship goes on and how he feels about certain aspects of it and how he's sort of learning as he goes. And I really enjoyed it. I buddy read it with my friend Caroline, and yeah, we both were into the Leather Daddy book, and I again would read more by him. But yeah, so that's what I've read. I'm not currently reading anything. Yeah, I only finished this last night, and yeah, so I just want to do a bit tidying. So I just sort of show you what I'm doing. I guess some of these books you won't have seen because some of this tidying is book haul. So just see this as like a currently reading, not currently reading anything, I just lied. What I've recently read, what I'm currently putting away, what might I like to read next? I don't know. I DNF'd another book. Sorry. I DNF'd Jesus Christ Kinski by Benjamin Myers. I got like halfway through it. It's just such a slim little thing. But I wasn't into it. I've read two things by Benjamin Myers before. I've read The Perfect Golden Circle, which I really enjoyed, about crop circles. And I thought that was beautiful. I've also read Rare Singles, which is about Northern Soul, which is a type of dance music scene, primarily in the north of England, sort of with soul and Motown music. And it's about a guy in America who didn't really make it in America, but is beloved with Northern Soul, and he is invited to go to one of their like conventions. I just found that saccharine. I really wanted more depth. I love books about music. That was saccharine. So I thought, okay, I want to try more. So Jesus Christ Kinski is based on a real actor called Kinski, whatever. And he does a performance as Jesus. And so it's all in his head. It's very stream of consciousness, rambling, doesn't always make sense. I just didn't like it. I then Googled the man, and I thought, I don't want to be in this man's head. I've read stuff about him, and I don't want to be in his head anymore. I find Benjamin Myers a very interesting author. Completely different subjects every time. Because I've also, on my TBR, on my Kindle, I've got Cuddy, which is what, about like a saint or a monk or something, I can't remember. And also on my shelf somewhere, I've got Gallows Pole, historical fiction. So yeah, fascinating author, but Jesus Christ Kinski was not for me. Thought it was rubbish. Well, no, not rubbish. I didn't want to be inside this man's head, even though it was very short. So yeah, more DNFs, but we move. So yes, I am surrounded by backs of books. I actually get two, and then piles of books. But yes. One book I had considered reading recently was Longbourn, which is Pride and Prejudice from the perspective of the staff who work at Longbourn. But I'm just going to try not to continue obsessing over Regency stuff, because what Jane Austen did I coming up? I can go back to it then. But yes, so that was one thing. Oh, here's a really charming cover of Persuasion that I got in a charity shop years ago. So inaccurate, costume wise. But I do love it. I've got Northanger Abbey one in a similar vein, but it's terrible cover. Here's a book I bought when I went to the what's it called? Is it called the Museum of Somerset or the Somerset Museum in Taunton? I bought Storyland by Amy Jeffs because I wanted to buy a book, really. And this has been everywhere, so I don't really need to talk more. A new mythology of Britain. So she is retelling different myths of British history and, well, not necessarily history, but British myths. And with lino cuts that she has made inside it, which I really like. Like, you know, that sort of thing. But she's very, very well known. But I went to the museum. I think it's a great museum. If you've not been, it's a free museum. They've got great stuff. They've got a ceiling of cauldrons, which I'm really into. Yeah, I'm big into that. I just think, what an aesthetic. If I had a tall enough ceiling and enough cauldrons, I'd probably do the same. What else have we got? What else? Oh, these are some books I got from a charity shop recently, actually, which is very cheeky of me considering I'm not reading. I've got Julia by Sandra Newman, which is 1984 from the perspective of Julia. I would like to reread 1984 before I read this, because I read 1984 when I was a wee teenager, and it's been a long time because I'm well past teenage years. And I also have a non-fiction book. I'm looking. My non-fiction is in front of me. Oh, The Ministry of Truth by Dorian Lynskey, a biography of 1984. So I'd like to have like a little, in the words of Sophie for Redhead Reading, I'd like to have a little reading moment. I always like that term. I kept that in my noggin. A little 1984 cheerful reading moment. But yes, I could do that at some point. I've not heard great things, but who cares? A non-fiction called It's About Time by Liv Evers. From calendars and clocks to moon cycles and light years. A history about time. I don't even think this is the only book I have that's about this topic. I have one about like the history of clocks or watches. I'm trying to look for it. Doesn't matter. If I think of it, I'll let you know. I've got like the random non-fiction in front of me. But you know, Sarah's brain on one day with organising is a completely different brain on another day. Oh, Hands of Time by Rebecca Struthers. It's about watchmaking, I think, or clocks, whatever. So I've got that one. And then we have The Famished Road by Ben Ockrey. I can't remember what this is about. I just thought it looked good. It says, Azaro is a spirit child who is born only to live for a short while. Sorry, my throat hurts. Before returning to the idyllic world of his spirit companions. Oh, that sounds good. Now he's chosen to stay in the world of the living. This is a story. Yeah, I remember now. I got that. Sounds brilliant. And then the other one I got was Burning the Books, A History of Knowledge Under Attack by Richard Ovenden. Yeah, and it's about that. And I thought that sounded good. It's got a cool stamp in here from whoever had it before me. It says Big Ben Lying Down, Manchester International Festival 2021, maybe. It's a bit smudged. We like a cool thing. So those were some recent charity shop books. There's probably more books. Here's a book that I'm thinking about reading soon, and that's Victoria's Secret, not about the underwear. Though I would read a book about Queen Victoria's underwear. The Private Passion of a Queen by Fern Riddell. I really like Fern Riddell. One of my favourite non-fiction books is called Sex Lessons from History. I never know if it's actually called Sex Lessons from History or Sex Lessons from History. Which is, you could probably guess what it's about. But this is about Queen Victoria and new information that leads her to believe that Victoria married again. And yes, if you've heard of John Brown, there was always sort of rumblings about their relationship being more than friendly. I really look forward to reading this. I will not be watching the Judge Rinder's documentary to do with it, because okay, it's not a tangent, because I said I was going to talk about random stuff. So there was a documentary regarding a book by Philippa Langley. Philippa Langley is very important in the Ricardian Society. The Ricardian Society is a society that believes that Richard III was the rightful heir, Henry VII was a usurper, and that Richard was an innocent man and did not kill the princess in the tower. Anyway, so she wrote a book which claims that the princes in the tower survived. And Rob Rinder, Judge Rinder, crap version of Judge Judy, did a documentary where they looked at this stuff, but then at the end, this is what lost me, is at the end, using his judginess, was like, I declare this to be true. I was like, you don't know that. And then I don't want to watch a documentary with him with the idea that he's judging whether it's true or not. Anyway, so he did a documentary with Van Riddell, and I'm not watching that. Anyway, but I do really want to read this soon, because I love Victorian history, and I want to hear about the possible relationship with Mr. John Brown. I'm making a pile of books that I might like to read. What else have I got? I got this from a library sale, which is The Passion of New Eve by Angela Carter. I've only read The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, and I wasn't actually a big fan, but I am intrigued by more. And I really like these Virago editions. Not sure who designed the cover. Roxana Bikadorov. That's probably pronounced terribly. There's probably been about 20 different editions of this book since this came out, because publishers can't keep an edition for a while. And then I got this, even though I'm already regretting it because it's in terrible condition. And I don't actually really want to read it. But it was on one of those days, I think I'd been to the doctor's, and this was 10p. This is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. I'm not even particularly interested, but I'll give it a go. It's one of those days when I want to buy myself a present, and this is 10p. I know lots of people like it. I think I like romance books, but this is not really the sort of romance book I would normally go for. But yeah, I got that in the library sale. And then this just got a little copy of the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. Do you know how much it's cost me? 20p. It only came out last year, this edition, so obviously someone didn't want it. This is the Fingerprint Classics by Prakash Books or something. I don't know. Anyway, just gonna put it on my shelf. I will read it one day. Not because I care about the film coming out. I don't really watch films. I can't be bothered. I have an attention span of a gnat. I'm not tidy, am I? This is really just a random book talk. I've lost the sensation of my feet. What else? Here's the books that need to go back on my shelves. We have Red Dawn Over China, How Communism Conquered a Quarter of Humanity by Frank Dicotta. I've got a few books by him, and I haven't read any of them. Story of my life. Oh, here's one that I'm really excited to read. I'm just rearranging stuff. This is The Dandy, A People's History of Sartorial Splendour by Peter K. Anderson. Now, this is by Oxford University Press, and sometimes university presses can err on the drier side, but I mean, surely a topic like this, I mean, surely it's going to be good. It's going from like Beau Brummel to like the 60s with the mods. I so want it to be good. I so want it to be good. I will cry if it's not good. Oh, here's a book that I've read one story in it so far, and that's a charity shop book I got recently. I say recently, a few months ago. Antarctica by Claire Keegan. It's the first story called Antarctica, I think it is. I read it and I didn't like this first short story. Felt very like blaming women's want of sex sort of story. I mean, these all came out a while ago. Originally, 1999. It's just been republished because of her fame with Small Things Like These, which I've not read. I didn't like the story. It's kind of put me off continuing. If you've read it, shall I? I mean, I own it, so I probably should. I really am just making more of a mess than actually achieving anything. What else? Got The Incandescent a while ago by Emily Tesh. I know Winn released from Misread Versions recently read it and loved it. I had a very late Christmas present of King Sorrow by Joe Hill. But it's a mystery because this appeared as a paperback, even though it's not out in paperback until like September. Even though it was ordered from a normal book place. But you know, that was a nice mystery. Look forward to reading. How big is this again? It feels bigger. It's like 900 pages. That's fine. Fireman by him was pretty big as well. I'm really looking forward to reading that. The problem is, I'm gonna have to completely rearrange my horror shelf because Joe Hill hadn't put out anything for a while, so I hadn't really like factored in more space for him. But I must, because this needs to go on my Joe Hill area. What else have we got? Do you have anything else of interest to show you? That's that book I DNF'd I mentioned in my last video. The Virtues of Underwear. Body shaming. Rubbish. The English Actor by Peter Ackroyd. From medieval to modern. I've read quite a lot of Peter Ackroyd because he's done a lot about London. And when I was at university, our first main module was about London. And he has done loads of books. I've read one about Queer London by him, History of the Underground. And I don't mean like the tubes, but literally like from prehistory until the creation of the tubes and stuff like that. So this one I'm sure I will enjoy. History in Britain in 10 Enemies I have already read, but I was kindly given a physical copy by my mother-in-law for Christmas because I read it on my Kindle. This is what I've had this year, The Dreaded Pox. Sex and Disease in Early Modern London by Olivia Weiser. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading this. Maybe not right now. Maybe right now. Oh, there's a devil. There's a devil on the stage. I'm sold already. I'll go in the pile of babies. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I want to read next, and I'm hoping I'm coming out of the book slump now, because I've had enough of it, to be quite frank. I've had enough. Here's a niche book that I got because of Sophie from Red Head Reading, Walls. End of video. No. David Fry, Walls, A History of Civilization in Blood and Brick. Yeah, so that's the sort of person I am. Yes, so I don't know what I'm going to read next. I just want to get out of this book slump. I want to just be able to read in the short amount of time that I have to read. And I just want to enjoy reading again and books and be able to hear. I can't hear properly at my left ear right now. And just smell everything as well as I could. I lost my sense of smell and taste. Not COVID. Not that I can pass it on to you via the camera, via osmosis. Or miasma, like people used to think that germs were spread in the air. Yeah, so I was looking at a picture of Plague Doctor I've got over there. Got pox on the brain. But yeah, so how are you all doing? I don't know if I'll edit this. I might just shove it up so I've got a video out. Palaces of Revolution. So I'm probably not going to like be putting pictures up or making my editing fairy do it, because we don't have time. Just finding it hard to find time to edit, to film, to read, to just have any content to talk about. And I just, the fact that I'm even doing this is a really good sign that I'm heading in the right direction with reading. I have chatted for quite a long time, considering I had no intention to do this, and I've made no headway. Absolutely no headway. We're tidying, actually. I'm just precariously piling things up. I'm just going to quickly end with these 3 books that I got for Christmas, actually. What is from my lovely husband? This is Grimm's Fairy Tales, and it's just a really nice old edition. Because I said I wanted to read them, and yeah, so that's that. And then my friend Amy, who in our house we call Auntie Poo Poo, got me these 2 books for Christmas. We've got Illusions and Presents, Lost Christmas Ghost Stories, edited by Johnny Maines, one of those gorgeous British library editions. I love these. And then this book, which I'm really excited about, called The Devil's Elixirs. Elixirs, the font's not brilliant, by E.T.A. Hoffman of Nutcracker fame. The son of a heinous sinner, Medardus, is brought up in a monastery to atone for his father's wicked ways. However, after succumbing to temptation, Medardus himself is lured into a life of sin. A labyrinth plot sees him embarking on a fantastical journey into the world, meeting his doppelganger, involving himself in a game of double impersonation, and becoming embroiled in murderous intrigues at the Vatican, before the mysterious curse hanging over him and his family is finally explained. I mean, they probably didn't need to put quite as much information in the plot, but how good does that sound? I love shit like that. Anything Monk, though, I'm like, Don't Be Like the Monk by Matthew Lewis. Hated that book. Hated it. But yes, so that's so much. I'm just going to put all the books in front of me and just let them take over. So yeah, that's me. I've got no sensation in my feet anymore. Well, my left foot, my right foot's okay. So yeah, what are you reading? How are you? Tell me if you've read anything good. What was your last 5-star read? Who have you watched The Other Bennet Sister or read it? If you don't like it, you can get lost. I'm joking. You could. I'll still be your friend, but I'll think less of you. Also, are you Team Hayward or Team Ryder or Team Mr. Sparrow? I would have happily had them as a thruple or a polycule. I love them all. But I have a favourite. But I'm not going to tell you who because of spoilers. But yes, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I hopefully will see you again soon. Goodbye.